Josh hosts a 3-hour livestream that's part therapeutic monologue, part medical drama about his dog Otis, part low-rent ghost hunt, and part budget Joe Rogan meltdown. All wrapped in a chaotic, sweaty, technically glitchy, and emotionally turbulent ball of nonsense. He veers between discussing burnout, therapy, Otis' possibly demonic origins, and some incredibly questionable spirit box pseudo-investigation of missing people, with a level of seriousness usually reserved for QVC knife demos. Also, there's an inexplicable amount of talk about piss, crayons, nipples, and TikTok. Structure and content, if you can call it that. 1. The Otis Health Saga, aka Canine ER Josh Edition. Josh spends a massive portion of the livestream dramatically recounting Otis the French Bulldog's vertigo episode. We hear about raspy breathing, inflamed airways, ear canals with diverticulitis, a condition he made up, and a very expensive late-night vet visit. Otis, it seems, is Josh's literal emotional support demon. Otis drank from syringes, clamped down on them like a shark, refused to return them, and was eventually de-thawing, another made-up word. This is weirdly touching if you overlook the melodrama and literal pentagram pissing flashbacks. Quote of the night. He made a pentagram out of his toys and pissed in the middle while staring at me. I thought he was possessed. 2. Josh's state of mind, spoiler, it's cracked. Burnt out, back in therapy, and sounding like a tired substitute teacher giving a monologue about the meaning of life to a class that's long stopped listening. He fluctuates between heartfelt and hysterical, but don't be fooled. This is not introspection, it's performance art for people who also think buying holy water from Amazon is a viable mental health strategy. Quote, "Why am I like this? Because I looked for holy water to exorcise my French bulldog. That's why." 3. Spirit box bullsh *T or the paranormal meets paranoia. The highlight, or lowlight, is when he shifts from Otis' medical horror story to clowning on another content creator, Steven, a vanished and corrupt. Steven, who genuinely believes a radio static app is communicating with spirits, tries to ask where a missing child's body is while clearly sweating through his shirt and mumbling phrases like, "straight to the dome" and "straight to the throat." Josh mockingly dismantles the whole segment, pointing out how ridiculous it is to take instructions from what amounts to a glorified FM scan. The whole thing devolves into comedy gold when Josh riffs on spirit guides, nipple jumper cables, and spirit boxes giving gender-affirming answers. Radio quote. What if the spirit tells you to jumpstart your truck with jumper cables on your nipples? You gonna do it? For the case. For rants on criminals, teachers, and prison commissary, Josh turns briefly into a rage-fueled political commentator, railing against a Tennessee murder case, creeps getting teaching jobs, and the incompetence of school systems. Then he spins it all into a tangent about fishnet-wearing mailmen, boiled holy water, and prison snack privileges. There's a lot of indignation and not much coherence. Quote, "Rule number 1 for schools. Make sure your teachers have never tickled a student. Ever." 5. Stephen Crabtree's TikTok/YouTube Spirit Quest. Josh plays clips of Stephen's livestream, which is part true crime cosplay, part paranormal LRP, part extended panic attack. Highlights include Stephen claiming a spirit box said, "Get to the chopper." Stephen being confused every 15 minutes like clockwork. A crayon-eating dog named Odin. Josh mocking the idea that a spirit box could ever solve a case, especially if it requires nipple-based mechanics. And yes, a glorious callback to the time Stephen filmed himself in the woods possibly using drugs during a missing persons search. Quote, "Straight to the dome and straight to the throat. Where's your straw, Stephen?" Critical takeaways if you're still here. Josh's live streams are an acquired taste. Imagine Andy Kaufman running a dog-focused NPR segment while unraveling mentally on air. That's Lab After Dark. Unfiltered, unpolished, emotionally loaded, and at times brilliantly absurd. The show is therapeutic. For him. This isn't really for the audience. This is Josh working through his feelings in front of strangers. It's like journaling out loud. With donations. Stephen's content is dangerous clownery. If you're looking for someone to seriously investigate anything, don't pick a guy who says, "hooked on chronic," during a segment about missing children. Final verdict, snark included. Rating, 4 out of 5 Otis pentagrams paw prints. It's long, chaotic, emotionally volatile, and borderline unhinged, but in the best way possible. Josh's ability to swing from sincere grief to mocking a paranormal TikTok bumbler makes this a deranged roller coaster ride. Is it productive? No. Is it professional? Absolutely not. Josh's livestream was a veritable smorgasbord of inappropriate language, erratic behavior, and unfiltered TMI, all lovingly wrapped in a sweaty, chaotic bow. Here's the highlight reel of inappropriateness. Language. Rated R for rants, rambling, and really weird *T. Cursing. He dropped enough F-bombs to carpet bomb a small village. It's like his swear jar declared bankruptcy. Slurs or hate speech? No, thankfully. But it's not for lack of unhinged opportunities. He dances around some dicey territory with rants about spirit guides having pronouns, but manages to keep it just on the side of ill-informed boomer energy rather than overt bigotry. Medical accuracy violations. Repeatedly refers to his dog's condition as diverticulitis of the ear, which is medically speaking bullshit star. He says he's not a doctor and boy he proves it. Behavior. Cringe, chaos, and canine exorcisms. Mild dog abuse comedy. He tells stories about Otis creating pentagrams with toys and pissing in the center like a furry occultist, as if it's totally normal. Mentions buying holy water from Amazon to splash on the dog. Totally stable behavior. Mocking the mentally fragile. While mocking Stephen Crabtree and the spirit box madness is hilarious, it's also a masterclass in public ridicule. Funny. Yes. Hey. Not remotely. Graphic visuals and bodily functions. Between talking about Otis' raspy breathing and clamping down on syringes like a drugged velociraptor, Josh tosses in stories about donkey piss, chewing on imaginary gum, and other things that should not be livestream staples. Casual joking about drugs. Hooked on phonics? I said hooked on chronic. He pretends he's joking, but when a guy's holding a grudge about a drug test video from the woods, you start to wonder. Crosses the line with missing persons. While roasting spirit box grifters is valid, he still meanders a bit too close to exploiting real-life missing person cases for content. He just does it while pretending to be the reasonable one. Overall verdict. Yes, Josh uses inappropriate language and behavior liberally, but it's not hate-fueled or malicious. It's more like a stand-up comedian in the middle of a therapy session who forgot he was streaming. He's inappropriate in a way that's unfiltered, occasionally problematic, and often hilarious, as long as you're not the one he's talking about. Top 10 absurd or offensive Josh moments. Presented in no particular order because chaos doesn't have structure. 1. He made a pentagram out of his toys and pissed in the middle while staring at me. Context. Josh describing Otis, his French bulldog. Why it's nuts. That sentence should exist only in horror films or psychiatric evaluations. He dead seriously thought his dog might be possessed. Bonus absurdity, he bought holy water from Amazon to try and fix it. 2. You want me to help your spirit cross over? Hook jumper cables to my nipples. Context. Mocking Stephen Crabtree's spirit box nonsense. Why it's iconic. He literally created an image of electrocuting himself via nipples to please ghost radio static. Art. 3. Straight to the dome and straight to the throat. Context. Repeating Crabtree's quote like it was the Gettysburg Address. Why it's disturbing, he said it no less than 20 times. With different inflections. As a mantra. As a war cry. As a joke. As an accusation. He was possessed by the phrase. Level of deranged, 10 out of 10. For, where's your straw, Stephen? Context. Referencing Stephen's alleged filmed straw incident in the woods. Why it's offensive. It's a veiled drug accusation delivered with the glee of a playground bully who just found your diary. 5. I thought my dog worshipped the devil. Follow-up. He chewed my grandma's Bible and pissed in a pentagram. I started shopping for holy water. Legitimately. Why it's insane. Again, he's not joking. This wasn't a skit. He thought he had a demon dog and was preparing an Amazon-based exorcism. 6. Why is it always spirit guides? Why can't they be spirit interns? Snark level. Unreasonably high. Offensive. Not really unless you're a deeply sensitive ghost. Still dumb? 100%. 7. Anybody that tickles a child at school should be fired and have a file. And then that file should be burned. While they watch. Context. Rant about inappropriate teachers. Problem. Yes, protecting kids is serious. But the tone, unhinged, frothing anger mixed with comedy, makes it sound like he's delivering policy reform at a bar fight. 8. We went to the moon in the 60s, but we can't stop teachers from tickling kids? What even is this sentence? Also, a strong contender for most chaotic leap in logic ever. 9. The mailman wore fishnet stockings and looked like he was in the Sons of Anarchy. Context: random postal worker slander because Josh didn't like his outfit. Why it's ridiculous. He turned mail delivery into a culture war. Somehow. 10. I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know. Said at the end. No context. No explanation. And that's exactly how a Josh stream ends. Dishonorable mentions. I don't feel evil, it just went straight to the dome. Still no idea what that means. Barbran? You mean Bomberon? Misidentifying a Beach Boys song while mocking someone else's hallucination. Let's move on. Take a lap. His go-to response to literally any disagreement, like he's your disappointed middle school gym teacher. Final summary. Josh is a walking collection of off-the-cuff therapy rants, supernatural dog stories, and insults disguised as comedy. He's never 100% serious, but he's also never totally kidding. So yes, he says plenty of absurd and offensive things, but he does it with enough charisma and burnout mystic energy that people keep watching. The main target of Josh's livestream was, without a shadow of a doubt, Stephen Crabtree, a vanished and corrupt, though you could just as accurately call him Sweaty Spirit Box Steve. Stephen was the bullseye on Josh's dartboard. Josh didn't just take a few potshots, he launched a full-scale roast-style scorched earth comedy campaign against him. Here's why. Why Stephen was the target. Spirit box buffoonery. Stephen streams himself using apps that scan radio frequencies, aka noisy nonsense generators, to talk to spirits about real missing persons cases. The straw incident. Josh couldn't resist mocking the infamous video where Stephen, while allegedly searching for a missing child, may or may not have used a straw for suspicious nasal activity in the woods. Stephen later claimed it was a troll. Sure, January. Fake spiritual gravitas. Josh tore into Stephen's bizarre seriousness, from his overdramatic prayers to his fear of evil spirits, to his cringeworthy requests like Spirit Guide Hodge, help me find Layla Santinello near a Walmart. Delusional self-importance. Stephen's tendency to present himself as a spirit medium / detective with a $5 app and a notebook full of cryptic phrases was too much bait for Josh to ignore. Josh's greatest hits on Stephen. Get the jumper cables on your nipples and jumpstart the spirit. Where's your straw, Stephen? In reference to the infamous video. Straight to the dome and straight to the throat. Josh gleefully repeats this bizarre line from Stephen's livestream like a broken record at a roast. You're not talking to spirits, you're talking to a $2 radio with an ego. How are you confused again? This is the second time you've been confused in 45 minutes. He chewed on imaginary gum and said he wasn't cracked out. That's exactly what cracked out people say. Bonus targets, honorable mentions. TikTok for not working properly. Josh spent a chunk of time rage-clicking the app like it personally betrayed him. YouTube display name glitch. He spiraled into an identity crisis because he couldn't recognize regulars due to name changes. Fishnet-wearing mailman, Josh veered off into a bizarre tangent about USPS fashion crimes and the decline of uniform pride. The governor of Tennessee got roasted for empty platitudes and doing jack all about child protection. People who think the moon landing was faked got a brief but satisfying backhand. Final verdict. Josh treated Stephen Crabtree like a piñata made of pseudoscience, sweaty panic, and tech illiteracy, and he swung hard for 3 straight hours. So yes, Stephen was the main course, everyone else was just side dishes. Josh. The human Venn diagram of oversharing, outrage, and Otis vomit. Josh is what happens when emotional vulnerability meets caffeine poisoning and no one hits the end stream button. He's not a content creator so much as a chaotic open wound with a ring light, equal parts sympathetic, insufferable, and why am I still watching this? Performance style. Starts like a podcast. Turns into a confessional. Morphs into a dog hospital drama. Then becomes a roast battle he's having by himself, against a man with a spirit box and a possible drug habit. Ends in exhaustion both for him and the viewer. Watching him is like watching a man try to emotionally regulate in real time while slamming Red Bulls and screaming at ghost hunters. There's no pacing. Just manic spirals. If he were a beverage, he'd be a lukewarm Monster Energy drink with holy water in it, wrapped in duct tape, served at a gas station prayer circle. His dog Otis. Josh talks about his dog like he's both a cherub and a cursed relic from an Indiana Jones movie. If you judged him just by how he treats Otis, you'd think, oh, wholesome. But then Otis starts peeing in pentagrams and Josh starts looking up exorcism rituals on Amazon, and suddenly we're in a horror comedy starring a guy with unresolved trauma and no impulse control. Personality vibe. He's the kind of guy who cries during commercials and makes fun of people for using therapy speak, while quoting his therapist every 10 minutes. Constant contradiction. He says he wants peace, but his entire stream is a 3-hour war on stability. He believes in accountability. For other people. For himself. That's content, baby. Josh is like a chaotic good version of an internet goblin. He roasts people for grifting, while monetizing his own burnout spiral like a Twitch therapist with Wi-Fi and childhood issues. The annoying bits, let's be honest. His tangents are endless. Like, I just wanted to know how your dog was doing. Suddenly we're talking about fishnet-clad mailmen and school policies about tickling. He loves the sound of his own voice more than Otis loves peeing in symbolic shapes. Everything is a monologue. It's less conversation, and more TED Talk with rage. Final personal review. Josh is the type of guy you'd unfollow on every app, but still watch from a burner account because the car crash is too compelling. He's frustrating, occasionally brilliant, emotionally unstable, and deeply exhausting to consume in large doses. You don't have to like him. In fact, it's very reasonable not to. But he's carved out a weird little niche where content, chaos, and dog puke collide. And for better or worse, he knows exactly how to weaponize it. Closing statement. Congratulations, Josh. You played yourself. Well, Josh, or should I say Burnout McLivestream, congratulations on spending 3 hours of your life spiraling into a Red Bull-fueled rant session about a man who lives rent-free in your head. Stephen. Freaking. Crabtree. You claim you're not obsessed, yet you've got spirit box timestamps, Stephen's TikTok history, and a suspicious amount of knowledge about straw angles for someone who doesn't care. Admit it. You've got a playlist called Crabtree Greatest Hits, Extended Haunting Version. Let's be honest, Stephen is out there trying to solve real cases. Yes, with a spirit box, yes, with questionable camera angles, and yes, sometimes sounding like he lost a wrestling match with anxiety, but at least he's not monetizing his therapy sessions disguised as true crime commentary. Meanwhile, you're out here, talking to your possessed dog like he's a demonic toddler in a Scooby-Doo reboot. Screaming into the void about TikTok glitches like a divorced stepdad trying to log into Zoom. And dragging a man who clearly believes he's helping, just because your own content well dried up faster than Otis's inner ear after that vet visit. Stephen may be sweaty, confused, and possibly followed by shadow people, but he's not mean. You are. And when history remembers this bizarre little corner of the internet, it won't be the guy asking ghost apps for directions who looks unhinged. It'll be the grown man yelling jumper cables on nipples into a microphone at 2 a.m. So take a bow, Josh. Or better yet, take a nap. The spirits are tired. And honestly, so are we.